I mean, Keegan Murray, I've been highly, highly impressed by him so far through Summer League with his ability to score in, virtually every single type of way that you can imagine. And for the Sacramento Kings, I understand there's disappointment not getting Jaden Ivey, who in his own right has looked great with Detroit. But for the Kings, man, I'm just watching Keegan Murray this Summer League after watching the way he developed in college. And it's like, this dude's going to be in the league for 10 years. There's no doubt Keegan Murray is going to be a good player for so long to come. Tjarks, have you seen anything from Keegan Murray that suggests that he could be more than just a very good player, but does he have the upside to perhaps even become a star with his size and versatile scoring ability and his versatile defense for that matter?
You never want to put a ceiling on a guy, right? Especially someone who's developed later, who's had a pretty non-traditional path to get there. I think the main thing is what's really stands out when you watch Keegan now is just how polished he is. Like, he's a little older, but it's okay if you're older because you're more polished, you have a more sophisticated game. And that's what really stands out. Like, there's not a ton of fat in his game. He makes the cuts. He moves off the ball. Like the backdoor cut. We were laughing because they were playing the Pacers. We're like, that's the most spiritually Pacers play ever. To have like a winning game backdoor cut. And that's the thing that stands out to me watching Keegan here is he's really going to be able to play off of Sabonis and Foxwell. I think that's like his ability to cut off the ball, spot up is like really impressive. And like when you're going to a team with high usage guys, you got to find your own way. You're not necessarily going to be able to just dominate the ball. And that's what Keegan showed in college too. So as a freshman in Iowa, he played behind Luka Garza, National Player of the Year, averaged like 30 points a game basically. And Keegan's like, I got to cut to get baskets. I can't get the ball. And he just finds ways to score.
I think what you want to do if you're playing with the stars is you want to be able to take that further. Is like you want to have the ability to strain like the best offenses in the NBA, like top to bottom, like the width of their personnel. If you're not a star, you need to be able to like stress the attention span of the defense. Like you need to be able to do other things. And I think that's like something in the playoffs, you'll see it over and over again with like offenses start to break down. If you have guys that aren't like intelligent cutters or they can't make simple passes off the catch, like Keegan is set up to a place where I don't think that his developmental challenges are going to be overly strained, like in the short term. I think like the on-ball stuff, talking about him being a star, how many like Steph is like the ultimate off-ball superstar, but he can go on-ball. I'm trying to think of like the highest ceiling for like a guy who is an off-ball. Usually they're like catch-and-shoot guys, which he's shown a ton of that. I mean, that's been impressive to me. He had the consistency there. But I think that he is like such an intelligent, like Warren is the guy that always
that's
comes
what we've
mind.
been talking about in our pod is TJ Warren.
Yeah.
And like not only just in terms of the game, but statistically, they had very similar careers in college.
Yeah, TJ Warren has his mid-range flow. Always had the floater at NC State. Developed as a three-point shooter in the NBA. Yeah, I think TJ Warren's actually a pretty good comp because TJ can move without the ball too. And he can get buckets for you here and there in the right matchups with the ball in his hands. I think the Kings got it right. I mean, like I know Jaden Ivey maybe becomes the better player long term, but I'm one of the types of people who does think fit matters to an extent. I mean, like you're not going to draft a player because he fits better over a better prospect, but I don't think Jaden Ivey was so dramatically better than Keegan Murray that it was worth potentially complicating the way you're building out this entire roster with De'Aaron Fox, who was averaging 28 points with the best efficiency of his career after the Tyrese Halliburton
Okay, actually,
trade.
I have a question for you. Like, we can talk about the Kings on this pod, so it's cool. Like, we can go into the weeds.
We can talk about the Kings?
Because I was talking with someone today about this.
They've been doing great, by the way. I teased them a lot, but this has been a good summer league for them.
So the one thing I wonder about is it sounds like they're going to go Sabonis, Barnes, Murray. And then have De'Aaron Fox. Like,
maybe.
You think no?
Well, Monte McNair, their general manager, said, we don't think that we're done yet.
I guess why I'm asking that, because to me, you're talking about fit and like how these pieces fit together. If you're the Kings, what I'd be concerned about is, can we play enough defense? And like, I think really they need, when you have Sabonis and Fox as your top two guys, you need your secondary guys to guard. And that's the question for this team this season.
And Keegan Murray helps there for sure. Would you flip Harrison Barnes and, whatever else to get DeAndre Ayton? Is that an awkward fit with Domantas Sabonis?
It really might be. I don't know. I don't know if Aiden would be super down for that. Like Sabonis kind of getting his way all the time.
Yeah,
like
they would
Aiden's
be
trying to
in
get a
each
bigger
other,
role.
Mhm.
He's not trying to be Miles Turner.
And Sabonis is the guy who's going to be doing a ton of facilitating.
He's going to
for
be
you.
the man in Sacramento.
I don't love the fit person.
Yeah, I
Miles
don't.
Turner
yeah.
that's a really good
Miles
point.
Turner.
It would be like a repeat of kind of what Sabonis went through. I would move Barnes though. I mean, I wouldn't hesitate to do that if that was on the table. Yeah, I don't know. I think
If you're trying to win, though, Barnes helps you win. Right? That's the thing is they're trying to win. Barnes is a very winning player.
So you kind of are on the side of why not just keep Harrison Barnes?
Barnes is a winning player. You think?
I mean, at this point in his career, for sure. I mean, like he's 6'8", he guards. Like he's real. I got to see him really grow as his time in Dallas. He's an excellent NBA player now.
He's a good player.
I mean, I understand if you'd want to rebuild and be on a longer timetable to trade Barnes, but you have to operate within the constraints of the franchise you're in. Obviously, the Kings are trying to win right now. If you're trying to win right now, it doesn't really make sense to trade Harrison Barnes, I don't think.
It's pretty clear to me that Jaden Ivey didn't fit the vision of how they're building this team out. They acquire Kevin Huerter. They acquire Malik Monk. They already have Davion Mitchell, who they drafted in the first round last year. I'm not saying you should always draft for fit. You shouldn't. But the roster just makes sense on paper the way in which they built this out. I mean, you can see this becoming a team that's competing for the play-in tournament if De'Aaron Fox is able to repeat what he did to close the year. And isn't that ultimately the key of all of this, though? The development of De'Aaron Fox is the real engine of your offense and what he can become.
I got to say, I want someone to believe in me as much as the Kings believe in De'Aaron Fox. Like they have shown so much commitment to him in terms of guys they've passed on to take him, guys they've traded to feature him.
Yeah.
Like you have been given the ultimate key. It is time to really show out.
I want to bring it back to the thought I had about Keegan Murray. Like, what is his real upside, though, too? Because we're talking about fit there with a baseline of what Keegan Murray can become. Has he shown anything to you that suggests, oh, no, this guy's not just a high-end role player. He could be one of those guys that's one of your three best players, a star player on your team, a guy who's getting buckets for you at the end of the shot clock, just like he did in games that we've seen so far. That guy scored 20-plus points in every game in the Summer League and has done it in so many different ways. Why can't Keegan Murray become a star, I guess is the thought on my mind. He fits, but also there is some upside there, perhaps, as a late-blooming prospect.
I would say I always believe, like, when you start talking about stars, you have to be well-rounded. Like, the next step, if we're talking about Keegan Murray becoming a star, it's, okay, can you give me 3, 4, 5 assists? Like, I loved his stat line in college. It's anytime you get like 24 points and 1 assist, like I love that. That's like very close to my heart. But if you want to be a well-rounded, high-level, top 25 player
like
in
the
the
Colin
NBA,
Sexton thing, right?
you've got to be scoring, passing, and assisting. I think the level of play is so high now. You can't be one-dimensional.
Is he going to end up being more? I mean, Harrison Barnes is an interesting thought here because is his playmaking on ball upside? Is it Harrison Barnes? Could he get to that level? Because I mean, Barnes, like you said, good player. I teased about whether or not he's a winning player, but I mean, like, is that stratosphere attainable for him? Do you think at the Barnes level? I would think so. At the
I would say so. Yeah.